I used to be a man who did what he was told. Then I started to break them, but now I make the rules myself. And in this new world there is only one rule. You must be more ruthless than any other man to stay alive. More ruthless than the government, the gangs, and even God himself. Here I am, 23 years old, on the empty land of Mexico, with 32 men behind me, 150 guns, and a rage that won't stop. And in front of me are both the government and other gangs. But they don't know that I'm not that lost child anymore. I am the man who made a kingdom for himself. In this kingdom there is only one king, me. It had been 6 months since Martinez died, and everything was different. That night, the night they set the trap, I had been hurt. But Martinez had died in that rain of bullets. His 40 men ran in all directions. His gang was done for, and I had taken his place. I didn't want to be a part of it at first. I told his men, I'm not a leader, but they wouldn't listen to anything else. Old Pablo said, you forgave Martinez. You fought for him. You can be our leader. And so it happened. In 6 months, I had put together Martinez's gang again. There are 32 men. Everyone was loyal to me. Everyone is ready to meet their maker. But I didn't just put them all together. I put them in order, thought about it in a smart way, made maps, made friends. And the most important thing was that I figured out what the government was up to. If you ever wanted to beat a system, you know that you have to first understand it, then look for its weak points, and then hit without mercy. The government had been using old criminals to get rid of the gangs. The first time it happened was with Williams' group, but it wasn't the only one. The same system was in place in Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, and everywhere else. Old criminals killing new criminals. The government staying out of trouble. I have to admit that it was smart of them. But they had made a mistake by giving those old criminals too much power. And power is a bad thing, especially when it's in the wrong hands. I came up with a plan when I realized this. Difficult, dangerous, but brilliant. I told my men, we're going to hit the government with their own weapon. How? Why? Pablo asked. We're going to get their men to join us. Those criminals who used to work for the government are now going to work for us. Not possible. They made promises to the government. I laughed and said, oaths. Gold is what oaths are made of. And we're going to give them something better than gold. Freedom. The recruiter gang was my first target. A group of 8 people who worked for the government in Arizona. Carson was their leader, used to rob banks. I found him in a bar in Scottsdale, alone drinking. I sat down next to him. Carson, I said. The man stared at me. They didn't know who I was. A lot had changed about how I looked. Who are you? He said. I said, an opportunity. What is the government giving you? A pardon? A couple of bucks? That isn't your business. I care about it, because I can give you more. Carson laughed. Who the hell are you? I'm the future. And in the future, there won't be a government. Only the strong. I wasn't the only one in such circumstances. Throughout history, leaders have gotten men to join their armies by convincing them. And I was doing those things too. I told Carson everything about it. How the government was using them, how they worked them like slaves, and how they would be thrown away when they were no longer useful. I told him, the government is using you. But I will make you a partner, equal shares, equal strength, equal respect. Carson thought about it for a long time. Then, what do you want? He said. The plans of the government. Which gangs they are going after. When? How? That's betrayal. No, that's how you stay alive. Because the government is going to leave you out to dry sooner or later. But with me, you can build a kingdom. Kingdom. That word made something happen in Carson's eyes. I'll think about it, he said. 2 days later, Carson and his men came to help me. 8 new guys, 8 guns, 8 places to get information. And so the empire started to grow. For the next 3 months, I worked in a planned way. I wasn't just putting together a gang. I was putting together a group. I beat 3 more gangs from New Mexico. 2 are from Texas. 5 from Arizona. There are 10 gangs in all. 150 men. Everyone is loyal to me. Everyone is against the government. And the government didn't notice, because these gangs were still working for them on paper. We sent in reports that aren't true, lies and made-up stories. I was making them rot from the inside. One day, Pablo told me, "You're not just a leader, you're a genius at planning." I said, "No, I'm just a man who wants to live. And to stay alive, you have to be the smartest person in the room." If you've ever been in charge of men in tough situations, you know that power doesn't just come from guns. It comes from brains, planning, and seeing the big picture. But eventually, every secret comes out. People say that the truth will come out. The government found out about our game in May. Fort Stockton got 20 soldiers, Army group. Their goal was to catch the gangs that were working with us. But we were prepared. We attacked the fort. 150 men moved into position without making a sound. We hit at dawn. Gunfire, explosions, and screams turned Fort Stockton into a scene from hell. I fought on the front lines. It was the first time I had led such a big operation, telling people what to do, putting together teams, making decisions about tactics. And we won. 20 soldiers, 15 died, 5 got away. We only lost 3 people. We got the fort. We took everything inside, including the guns, the ammo, and the cash. We told the government, "We are not your slaves anymore. We're the same as you." People who have been through these kinds of things know that when a slave fights back against his master, he either gets his freedom or dies. And I picked freedom. My name became famous after the Fort Stockton raid. They said, "Diego Rodriguez, the man who went against the government, the group that beat the army." People in towns talked about me. I was in the news. The government was furious. And I got even stronger. Fear-based respect is stronger than real respect. People were scared of me. The government was afraid of me. Pablo told me, "Be careful. You are too well known now. You're a target." "Is there a target?" I laughed. "I've always been a target. But here's the thing, I'm shooting back now." The government wasn't the only enemy I had. There were also gangs that were against each other. Gangs were worried about our rise and wanted to protect their own areas. The Valdez gang was the biggest, 50 guys, based in Chihuahua. Alejandro Valdez, their leader, was an old, tough, and ruthless man. He sent me a messenger. The emissary said, "Get out of our territory, or there will be war." "War," I said calmly. tell Valdez that those lands are no longer his. He'll promise me that he wants to stay. If not, he will stop being. The messenger was shocked. Are you really going to challenge Valdez? I'm not challenging. I'm telling the truth. What would you have done? Would you have fought someone who was stronger than you? But I felt like I was the strongest now. Valdez replied 2 days later, but not with words, with action. They attacked our camp. It's midnight, 10 guys. Everyone was armed, but we were prepared. The guards had warned them ahead of time. The fight was short, but bloody. 10 minutes, 10 of Valdez's men are dead. We didn't lose anyone. I sent the bodies back to Valdez with a note that said, "You're next." But that night, something else happened. Something that wasn't expected. Jose arrived. Jose, my old friend, Jose from Martinez's group. Williams' gang member Jose. I hadn't seen him in years. He had gotten older. His hair had turned gray, but his eyes were still sharp. He said, "My friend, you're really alive." "Yes, I am." "But you, what are you doing here?" "I have an offer." "From Martha?" "From Sam, from your old friends." "What offer?" "Union. The old group broke up, but now they want to join you. Because you're the only hope." I stopped right there. Martha, Samuel, Sarah, and Tommy, they all knew who I was. They were all coming back. You might have also been surprised when your past came back. All of those people and memories come rushing back at once. And you're not ready. "Why?" I asked. "Why now?" "Because the government is looking for them too. The police want everyone in Williams' gang. Martha, Samuel, and Jim are all on the run. And you can keep them safe. Guard. That word again. Was I a guard or a killer? Bring them, I said. But only if. What condition? These are my rules. People follow my plan. I will be in charge, the only leader. Jose nodded. You already are. Martha, Samuel, Jim, Sarah, and Tommy all came 2 weeks later. Everyone had gotten older, but they were all still alive. Martha cried when she saw me. She said, "My boy, it's really you." We hugged, a long, warm hug. I hadn't felt that way in years. "Welcome," I said. "You're safe now." And they were, because I had become the king, and kings keep their families safe. By June, we were no longer just a gang. We were a group, a state, 170 men. But they won't be able to find us. We're spirits, shadows. It's too late by the time they see us. Samuel, the wise old man, would sit in the corner and listen. He told me one day, "You've changed, boy. You are no longer that child." Which kid? The kid who is 5 or the 20-year-old who is lost? Both. You're a different person now. It's colder, more calculating. Needed to stay alive. Maybe. But be careful. Sometimes the one who lives is the one who has lost himself. You know what it's like to lose something if you've ever changed yourself for power. Every time you get something, you lose something. It was unavoidable by the middle of July. We had to deal with the Valdez gang. Either you leave my territory or we all die, Alejandro Valdez said in his last warning. All of us? I laughed. Not at all, Alejandro. You will be the only one to die. We got ready for war. We met in a lonely valley in northern Chihuahua. 2 armies. There were 170 men against 50. We had the numbers. But Valdez knew what he was doing, knew the area, and they weren't afraid of death. We got into position before the sun came up, in groups. Every team has a job to do. Every man was at his post. I was in the middle. Jose is on the right side. Carson is on the left side. Pablo is in the back as a backup force. Valdez was on the hilltop, across from me. He was on his horse with a gun in his hand and looked defiant. "Diego, this is your last chance," he yelled. "Get out of here now." "No, Alejandro," I yelled back. "You pull back, or today is your last day." I wasn't the only one who was in that situation. Every leader must eventually confront adversaries directly. And that moment shows who you are. Valdez put his hand up. His men got ready to shoot. I also raised my hand. "Fire!" We both yelled at the same time. The valley turned into hell. There was gunfire, smoke, blood, and screams. It was all crazy, but I was calm in the middle of the chaos, telling people what to do. Advance on the left flank. Press on the right flank. Center. Stay where you are. Jose rode his horse into Valdez's men from the right. He was a great shot. All of the bullets hit their targets. 3 men fell down. Carson came in from the left. He broke through Valdez's defense with quick moves. 5 more men died. I was in the middle and watching Valdez. We made our horses go faster, to each other. "You're just a boy," he yelled. "What do you know about war?" "Everything," I yelled back, because I was born in the middle of it. We took out our guns. At the same time they were fired. The bullet from Valdez just missed my shoulder. Mine hit his chest. Valdez's horse threw him off, fell down on the ground. Blood. It's always blood. The death of Valdez meant the end of his gang. His troops gave up. A few ran away. Some people came with us. The fight lasted for 15 minutes. But the effects lasted a long time. There was no more Valdez gang. We got Chihuahua. Our land grew by 2 times. But the price was high. 12 of our men are dead. 20 people hurt. And I was a killer once more. Martha didn't say anything while she wrapped my wound. She looked disappointed. "What?" I asked. "You have something to say? You've changed so much, boy. You used to avoid killing. Now you're in charge." "To stay alive?" "No, for the win." "That's not the same." I stopped. Was she correct? Was I doing this just to stay alive? Or did power start to make me happy? You might have also noticed that winning can become an addiction. That time when you don't fight because you have to, but because you want to. The government did something new in August. But this time it's not military, it's political. A declaration of amnesty to all ex-criminals, gang members, and outlaws. If they turned themselves in, they would get full pardons. That was a smart move. It was easiest to break us up by separating my men from me. 3 men left the first week. "We're sorry, Diego," they said, "but we have families. We want to go back to normal life." I let them go, did not make them. But inside there was anger. 7 more left the second week. The third week there were 11. We went from 170 men to 149, and every day we were getting smaller. Jose was worried. If this keeps up, the gang will go away. I know. What are you going to do? I thought about it. Thought about it for a long time. Then I made up my mind. I said, we'll make a counter offer. A better deal than what the government has to offer. What kind of deal? Land, cash, safety, and most importantly, respect. You don't play his game. If you've ever tried to beat a rival, you make your own. I had a meeting with all the guys. There were 149 people at the camp's center. I told you that the government was giving you amnesty. Okay, take it, go, but I want you to know something. Everyone stopped talking, paid attention to me. Today the government is giving you amnesty. But what about the next day? They'll forget about you, put you out on the street, and in 2 years you'll still be poor and desperate. The quiet went on. But if you stay with me, I can give you a future. I will give you land. We will set up farms, make cities, and you will be kings on these lands. Pablo moved forward. How are you going to do this? I said, we'll stop fighting the government. We'll make a deal with them instead. But a fair deal. They won't be our slaves. We'll work with them. The government won't agree to that. They will, because they don't have any other options. They can either work with us or fight forever. War costs a lot of money. I did what I had planned. To begin, I sent a messenger to the government, Sam. Samuel was old, wise, and trustworthy. I told him to tell the governor this. Diego Rodriguez wants peace, but not submission, equality. Samuel thought for a moment. Are you sure? The government might try to take you into custody. Let them give it a shot. But they should know that if they arrest me, 150 men will fight back. And blood, a lot of blood will be shed. Samuel left. He came back 3 days later. The governor has agreed to meet, but he has some rules. What are they? You'll come by yourself, no men with guns. And if there isn't a deal, you'll be arrested. I chuckled. The governor thinks he can arrest me? Fool, what are you going to do? I'll go, but not by myself. There will be 100 men hiding in the shadows. If they take me, the governor's building will fall in an hour. People who have been through these kinds of times know that diplomacy isn't weak. The strongest weapon is diplomacy with guns. I went to Santa Fe, to the governor's office. The big stone building. The governor and his advisors, along with 5 armed guards, were inside. The governor was middle-aged, overweight, and full of himself. Diego Rodriguez, he said with a laugh. We finally get to meet. Yes, and you should be surprised that I came without pulling my gun. Why should I be shocked? You are a smart man. You know you lost. Lost? I laughed. Governor, are you really that stupid? The governor's face turned red. How dare you? I stopped him. I said, you tried to beat me, in a calm but firm voice. You sent the military. You gave people a break. But I'm still here, still going strong, and you're in a bad way. I'm not desperate. I'm the government. The government is far away in Washington, but I'm here in these lands. And the people of these lands, they hear me, not you. The governor stopped talking because I told the truth. People had faith in strength, not in government. And I was strong. What would you have done? Would you have given in to the government? Or would you have agreed to the same terms? What do you want? Finally, the governor asked. Easy. Don't bother me or my men. Don't bother us, and we won't bother you. Not possible. You are a criminal. I was, but now I'm a leader. A person who puts things together, and I can help you. How? I can control the borders. Put down other gangs. Keep things in order. You sit back and relax while I do your work." The governor thought about it, looked at the people who advised him. They talked in a low voice. The governor then turned. "A trial period, half a year. I'll forgive you and your men if you keep the peace during that time. But if you cause trouble," I said, "there won't be any trouble. You have my word." But I thought to myself, words fly through the air. Power stays on the ground. Jose came to me after leaving the governor. "How did it go?" "Well, we have 6 months. What will you do?" "We're going to build our kingdom, but this time we'll do it the right way. We are going to buy farms, open businesses, and with the government. We'll work with the government, but we'll always be on the lookout." Jose nodded. "You're really smart." "No, I'm just a guy who wants to stay alive. And to stay alive, you have to change the rules of the game." I worked in a planned way for the next 2 months. I took out rival gangs one at a time, but not by killing, by convincing. Some people came along. Some people left their areas and went away. There were still 5 big gangs left by the end of September. All of them are far away. They weren't a danger to us. And the government was happy because the number of crimes had gone down. Things had gotten better, but they didn't know the problems hadn't gotten any better. They had just been put together in one hand, mine. But what really shocked me was what Martha told me one night. A truth that would change everything. It was the first night of the month of October. We sat around the campfire. Me, Martha, Samuel, and Jose. The other people had gone to bed. Martha hadn't said anything in a long time. Thoughtful. She wanted to talk a few times, but held back. In the end, she couldn't take it anymore. "Boy," she said, her voice shook. "I have to tell you something." "Talk, Martha. What is it?" "About William, and about your family too." I stopped moving. "My family? What does William have to do with my family?" Martha took a big breath. "William told me something. Before he passed away, that day in Arizona, before he set the trap for you." "What did he say?" "Your father's death. He said it wasn't an accident." I stopped right away. "What do you mean?" "That gang, the gang that attacked the farm in Montana. They came on orders. If you're not sure if this is real, trust me, my world changed in that moment. I learned something. Some lies stay hidden for 40 years. Orders?" My voice shook with anger. "Who gave the orders?" "William's dad. He was a big gang leader back then, and your father was his enemy." "What?" "My dad was a farmer, a war veteran with only one arm." "No, boy." Martha's eyes filled with tears. "He wasn't the same man you knew, to be honest. He was an informant for the government of the UK, reporting on gangs in the US. My brain stopped. I couldn't get any air. My dad was a spy? William's dad found out, and he killed your father. But not only him, your sister and mother were also targets." "What are you talking about?" I yelled. I jumped up. "My mom and Lily died of the cold, of illness." "No," Samuel said as he stepped forward. "I knew this too," Martha told me, "but we didn't want to tell you because why?" I was yelling. Anger, pain, betrayal, everything inside me blew up. "Because revenge was killing you," Martha said. "And one more revenge. One more would completely destroy you." You know what it's like to have your whole life fall apart if you ever found out that it was all a lie. Everything loses its meaning. In a flash, I fell to the ground, put my hands over my face, and I cried. I really cried for the first time in years, because I got it. It wasn't by chance that my father died. It wasn't fate that my mother and Lily died. Everything was planned. A gang war had killed my family. Did William know this? I asked through my tears. Martha said, yes, he learned it from his dad. And when he came to you, found you, and made friends with you, he always felt bad. Feeling guilty, anger flared up again. He sold me out. He tricked me. Because you became too powerful, and he was scared. Afraid you would find out the truth. Scared you would get back at me. I got it. It all made sense. William took me in, gave me a family, and loved me, but I was always afraid. Guilt all the time. And in the end, he tried to kill me. Who is William's father? Is he still alive? Martha nodded. He's still alive, but you do know him. Who? Alejandro Valdez. My world turned. Valdez, I had killed Valdez. I had killed the man who ruined my family, but they didn't know, by chance. Fate is a very strange thing. People who have been through these kinds of things know that revenge can happen without anyone knowing. And that doesn't make me happy at all. Jose took an envelope out of his pocket. He said, there's something else? What? William gave me a letter before he died. If I die, give this to Diego, he said. I got the envelope. My hands were shaking. I opened it. There was a letter inside that William had written. Diego, if you are reading this, I am already dead, and most likely by your hand. I have to tell you everything. Your father killed my father. I was only 9 years old, but I knew, and I felt guilty ever since that day. I saw a chance when I found you. Maybe I could pay for my father's sin by protecting you and treating you like family. But I messed up. You got too strong, too smart, and I was scared. I was afraid you'd find out the truth and kill me. I had to turn against you, but you should know that I never wanted to. The time I spent with you was the best time of my life. You were my brother. I don't want you to forgive me because I can't be forgiven. But I want you to know my dad is still alive. People call it Valdez. You will have gotten back at him for what he did to your family if you find and kill him. And maybe then you'll be at peace. Goodbye, brother, William. I carefully folded the letter and threw it in the fire. The paper caught fire, turned to dust, just like it used to be. I said, I've already killed Valdez. I got back at him, but I didn't feel good about it, because I had no idea, and revenge done without knowing it. That's not revenge. How would you have felt if you had been looking for revenge for years and then got it without knowing it? Would you have felt that void? That lack of meaning? But the revenge wasn't over yet. There was one more gang, though, the last major gang, and their leader was William's uncle, Marcus. Marcus is savage, smart, and ruthless. There are 60 men deep in Arizona, hiding, and he was hunting me. He sent a messenger in November. Marcus wants to talk to you. What does he want? A reckoning. You murdered his nephew. You killed his brother. Now you'll have to pay. I laughed. Tell Marcus to come. I'm ready. But I knew deep down this was the last fight. Either I would die or Marcus would. or both of us. We got ready for 2 weeks, 149 men, all set for war, cleaned guns, counted the bullets, plans made. Martha was scared. Geez, this isn't necessary. You can get along with Marcus. No, some wars have to happen, and this is one. But you could lose, I know, but I have to take the chance of losing. If I run, I'll run forever. Samuel came up to me and said, I'm going with you. No, you stay here. You become leader if I die. I'm getting old. I can't lead. You can, because you are smart. Strength is not as important as wisdom. You might have felt the day when you had to leave your mark on the world. That moment when you know you're going to die. We met in the Arizona desert in December when it was very cold. 2 armies. 149 men against 60 men. But Marcus's men were the best. Former soldiers, seasoned fighters, and killers who weren't afraid of death. Marcus stood in front of me. He was tall, had broad shoulders, and a lot of scars. His eyes were cold. He said, Diego Rodriguez, or whatever your real name is. Names don't matter. The important thing is why we're here today. I know why we came. You killed my nephew. You killed my brother. I'm going to kill you now. You can try, but you should know that they weren't innocent. They ruined my family, and I just wanted justice. Justice? Marcus laughed. There isn't any justice in this world, just power, and today, whoever is strongest wins. Then let's get started. People who are going through this right now would hold their breath. 2 armies, 2 leaders, 1 desert, and only 1 winner. I put my hand up. Fire! The desert turned into hell. Gunfire, explosions, and screams. The fight went on for 2 hours. 2 hours of blood, death, and chaos. Jose pushed Marcus's men from the right side. He was a sharpshooter. Every bullet hit its mark. 3 men fell down. Carson came in from the left. He broke through Marcus's defense with quick moves. 5 more men died. I was hunting Marcus. In the desert, through the dust and the smell of death. We finally found each other. 2 men, guns drawn, are looking at each other. Do you have anything to say before you go? Marcus asked. Yes. Forgive my family. Never. We let go. At the same time, Marcus's bullet broke my ribs. The pain that can't be handled. Mine hit his heart. Marcus fell off his horse, fell apart. Blood, it's always blood. The death of Marcus meant the end of his gang. His men gave up. A few ran away. Some people came with us. The fight lasted for 15 minutes. But the effects lasted. The Marcus gang was no longer around. There are 30 dead. The other 30 gave up. Our losses, 42 dead, 50 hurt, and I was on the verge of death. Friend, hold on, Jose said to me. We'll call a doctor. Too late. No, you won't die. We all need you, Martha was crying. Samuel was saying prayers, and I was counting my last breaths. But at that moment I felt a strange calmness. Because I got it. I had gotten my revenge, and I could finally be at peace. But fate had one last trick up its sleeve for me. I heard a voice from far away as I closed my eyes. A voice of a woman. A voice you know. Diego, are you still alive? That voice, it was Clara's voice. I opened my eyes. Not clear. It was hard to see. Pain burned in my chest. Breathing was hard. But that voice was real. Clara? I whispered. I saw a face in front of me, a woman's face. But it wasn't Clara, similar, very similar, but younger. Maybe 20 years old. The woman said, I'm not Clara. I'm Emily, the daughter of Clara. Emily, the daughter of Clara, the child that was born from that pregnancy. But how? Clara was dead, shot in the chest. I had seen it with my own eyes. I said, Clara died. Every word hurt. No, Emily said and shook her head. My mom is still alive. She was hurt, badly hurt, but she made it, and she had me. If you're not sure if this is real, trust me, I was too, because some miracles are too amazing to believe. Where? I asked. Where's Clara? Close by, at the camp. She wants to meet you, but first you need to get better. Martha came to me and said, the doctor is on his way, boy. Wait a second. Please wait. Wait a minute. I had been doing that for a long time. But this time I had a reason to stay. Clara's life. It went on for 3 weeks. For 3 weeks I went back and forth between life and death. Nightmares, cold sweats and fevers, everything. But Martha, Samuel, and Jose were all there for me. Also Emily. She came every day, took my hand, and talked to me. One day she said, my mother talked about you a lot. She said she loved you, but also she hadn't forgiven you. I know, she is right. I would have turned into a monster. No, my mom doesn't say that anymore. She says you were just trying to stay alive. Sometimes, though, you have to become a monster to stay alive. My heart felt good. Maybe Clara got what I was saying. Maybe she had forgiven me. You know that feeling of not knowing if you'll get forgiveness, if you've ever had to wait for it. And when you are forgiven, your soul becomes light. At that moment, one could stand by the end of the 4th week. It hurt a lot, but I was standing. Clara was brought to me by Emily. She was camping in a small tent on the edge of the camp. I opened the flap, and I saw her, Clara. Clara is alive and breathing. She had gotten older. Her face has more lines, gray hair, but her eyes were still the same. Diego, she said. Her voice broke. Clara. Saying her name was a miracle. We hugged, a long, tight, tearful hug. For years I had dreamed of this moment, and now it was real. I said, you're alive. Yes, you are. We laughed, we cried, and we talked. We talked for hours. That day, Clara said, when Frank shot me, I thought I was dead. But the bullet had got stuck in my lung, but missed my heart. It was a miracle. But I saw it with my own eyes. You were dead. No, I passed out. Lost a lot of blood, but I was still alive. My men found Martinez, gave me care, and saved my pregnancy. Emily sat next to us. She said, I was born too early, but I was strong. Just like my mom, Clara ran her fingers through her daughter's hair. I told her about you every day. I thought she should know him even if he wasn't there. But I left you. No, you left to keep me safe. I got that. Years later, I got it. People who have been through these kinds of things know that sometimes being understood is more important than being forgiven. What's going to happen now? Clara asked. I don't know. The war is over. They get their revenge. Enemies killed. But I'm still on the run. The government is still looking for me. Then run. Come with me. To Mexico, south, far away, wherever you want. I stopped. Go. Run again. But this time running wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a choice. But my group, my guys, Jose, who was standing in the doorway, said, "They can trust Samuel. I'll stay too. We will keep them safe." Martha came over. "Boy, you've fought enough. It's time to start living now." Samuel arrived. "The light inside you is still burning. Don't let it go out. Go and be happy." I looked at them, my family, the people who had always been there for me, and I got it. Leaving didn't mean leaving them behind. Leaving was a present for them. They wouldn't be targets anymore if I left. I said, "Okay, I'll go, but first I need to do one thing." I wrote one last letter to the governor. "Governor, the 6-month period is over, and you have seen. I kept the peace. The gangs are over, brought order. I only have one thing to ask. Leave Clara and me alone. We're going a long way. We won't be back. Samuel will still be in charge. Of my gang, they've become legal, established farms, started businesses. They are no longer criminals. They are citizens. If you touch them, I'll come back, and then peace is over. But I'll leave you alone if you leave them alone. Do you agree? Diego Rodriguez, or as you call me, the Ghost." The letter is on its way, and a week later the answer came. Agreed is the word. What would you have done? Would you have kept fighting? Or would you have chosen to be at peace? It was the last week of December. It was snowing. It's cold, but it's pretty. We met one last time by the campfire. Me, Martha, Samuel, Jose, Pablo, Carson, and Emily. And of course, Clara. "I don't know how to pay you back," I said. For years you've been like family to me," Martha said. "You've been the same to us. And you will always be family." "Where are you going?" Samuel asked. "South, way down in Mexico, a little town. We'll build a farm there, live a calm and quiet life." "And you'll never come back?" Jose asked. "I don't know, maybe, but for now I need to rest." I talked to my inner voice one last time that night. I said softly, "The 5-year-old child? That kid hiding behind the tree, shaking and crying. Are you still there?" There was nothing but silence. "If you're there, know this. I kept you safe. I got back at you. Fought for what was right. And now you can find peace too." The wind blew softly, like the child was answering. "You know that peace if you've ever made peace with your past. And that peace, that's worth more than anything." Clara, Emily, and I got on our horses when the sun came up. We didn't have a lot of stuff, but enough. Everyone said goodbye to us. Martha cried. Samuel said a prayer. Jose waved. I said, "We'll see you again." Martha said, "We'll see you again, boy." We pushed the horses south to the snowy mountains, toward the unknown. And I, for the first time in years, I truly felt free. I am 23 years old. My father was killed 18 years ago. 17 years ago, my mother and sister were killed. But I survived. How many times did I die? How many times have I been born again? I can't remember how many times, but I do know now, death was a new beginning. There was a gain with every loss. Every fight taught me something, and now I'm done fighting. I'm alive. Clara rides next to me. Emily is behind me. And in front of me is an endless road. I don't know where I'm headed. I don't know what'll happen. But I do know one thing. The light inside me is still there. Weak, flickering but still burning. Samuel was correct. Martha was correct. Jose was correct. Don't let the light inside you go out. I didn't lose it, and I won't. The wind brushes my hair. The sun makes my face warm. I have Clara's hand, and I'm finally going home. Where is home? I don't know, but this time I'm not by myself. And that changes everything. Because life is not about being alone, but about being with others. And I finally found what it means.